morning. It's an amazing Monday. I've got all my berries and cream swag on because I had berries and cream for my breakfast shake, and I was just turning up, listening to Jay-Z's new album, too, 444. Had me on fire, and now we're about to get some nuggets from Triple M. And as I was making my berries and cream shake, I was thinking, man, ever since Herbalife found me, my Mondays have never been the same. You know, I do Mondays sometimes with the berries and cream swag on. I never used to do that before. And that's what's so dope about this lifestyle. You get to live however you want. You want to do Mondays crazy? Do Mondays crazy. You don't got to dread Mondays. Monday's like the most awesome day of the week. I get excited because it's a new week. And who knows what you could do with this week with a new opportunity. It's crazy in here. So I hope you guys have your breakfast ready. Hope you guys got your notebooks ready. Hope you guys got your minds ready. Today we're listening to Gary Vaynerchuk, top social media marketing expert. Not to mention just a really great perspective on life. He's going to actually be talking about perspective today. So get your notebook so you can take down some nuggets so you can share live. If you guys can put your name and where you're from in the chat bar. We're here in downtown Los Angeles. Shout out. And if you can put your name and where you're from in the chat bar. And if you're at work and can't share, put in the chat bar your biggest takeaway. If not, I'm excited to hear from you guys at the end when we share some takeaways. So let's get to work. Without further ado, Gary Vaynerchuk on perspective.
And that's a great thing. That means there's been enormous amount of prosperity, but let's not be naive. I mean, people literally complain when somebody gives them the wrong amount of like extra cream in a Starbucks $6 coffee. Like this, like we've gotten to a place where we complain, you know, out of all those lovely things you said, as I stood there getting ready to come, the part that, and I'm glad you pick up on this, and not a lot of people have said it before, so thank you. My lack of interest in complaining is so high. And when I watch what people complain about, it breaks my heart because they completely lack perspective. And I genuinely believe my happiness and optimism comes from my perspective. Even in political unrest times like right now, a lot of people are very bent out of shape, but the reality is that it's just never been better to be a human being. That's just the truth. That's just data. That's reality. And yeah, I mean, it's just a very fun time to be alive. So much going on. The internet is starting to hit maturity. Look what we're doing right now. This right now, right, would have cost millions of dollars in production and distribution to have the amount of people who watch this just 15 years ago. like, you know, I just think it's very interesting times. And I was saying something to a friend the other day. I was like, could you imagine if you told a parent 15 years ago, hey parent, what you're gonna wanna do in 15 years, instead of buying a kid, your 16-year-old, a car, you're gonna convince your 16-year-old daughter to go into a stranger's car every single day. You're gonna pay for your 16-year-old daughter to go into a stranger's car every single day, and you will think that's normal and actually safer than buying that kid a car. That's literally what we're living in now. High net worth individuals in America are preferring to give their kids unlimited Uber to buying a car because they don't want them drinking and driving, they don't trust their driving, and literally they think it's safer for their 16, 17-year-old to go into a stranger's car than to drive themselves. That's sacrilege 15 years ago. Online dating 20 years ago. The weirdest, nerdiest, you're thinking 300-pound white dude in the basement of a kid's car, now it's just completely standard. I mean, if you add in sliding into people's DM on Instagram, it's like 89% of relationships, right? So, you know, I think that we are, I think we're going through a huge transition because all of us, even thought leaders, are grossly underestimating the internet itself, and we're hitting scale, right? We now all are on at all times, and this is now the beginning. I was joking while I was working out this morning to D-Rock. I'm like, D-Rock, you're gonna get replaced by like a Pokemon ball. Like I'm gonna throw it up. Like people in 20 years are literally gonna throw something up and just gonna hover 360 and film everything they're doing. I mean, like it's just an incredible time. And I think the way people look at the world right now, because it's such an incredible time, is actually the quickest tell to who they are. If you think it sucks or it's bad, you have losing pessimistic DNA. And if you think it's awesome and phenomenal, you have optimistic winning DNA. And I believe that to be true. And so that's where we're at.
No, man, I'm with you on that. So I've been involved in the X Prize now for a while. The reason I got involved with the X Prize is largely for that reason. Like I look at the future, it's so fucking exciting. Like what's going on is crazy. And if you're the one that can see where the trends are going and you can ride those trends.
You gotta be kidding me. I left this thing loading.
Losing pessimistic DNA. And if you think it's awesome and phenomenal, you have optimistic winning DNA. And I believe that to be true. I think a lot of my friends, so I've had that career, but a lot of the reason is I'm not guessing or getting in too early, right? It's like real estate. Like, there's a big difference between the people that bought, beachfront property in Malibu than people that are buying beachfront property in off region, no infrastructure, islands in the Caribbean, which is right in theory, but it could be an 80-year theory, right? And so it's about timing. Like VR's coming, but consumer VR is very far away. All my friends are spending millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars in consumer virtual reality, VR, yet there's nobody here, nobody watching this that knows a single person that spends 3 hours a day on VR. Right? Like it's way far away. I'm not sure there's people that know people that have spent 3 hours in their life yet in VR, right? And definitely not 10 people outside of people in the business testing stuff. So I think timing really matters on that because I get worried that people jump way too far ahead and the reality is the market's not there yet.
What are the things you look for in that? So I heard you tell a story in one of the interviews that you did, and I thought the follow-up question there, which wasn't asked, you said, I was talking to this woman, she says she doesn't do Snapchat. I think it was a woman cutting your hair. She doesn't do Snapchat, no social, and you said, tell me more, just in case this is a trend that I need to be aware of. How do you identify those trends? Is it stuff like looking at what app is, on the front page of Apple and talking to the person cutting your hair? Is it really sort of that?
It's very, very non-scalable. Right. But that's my talent, right? Like I think like Clive Davis, like how does he do it? I don't know. He just sat there and heard people sing and he's like, you. Like I'm careful to not give advice that I know is uniquely something that I was gifted with. Like, how do I tell you that, here's how it actually works? And it almost started happening, it didn't happen. Like, I actually get goosebumps. Like real heavy goosebumps when I hear something that I know feels right. What's the advice there? Hey, Johnny, start getting goosebumps. Like, there's certain things that I can't talk about because I know they're not practical. They're intuitive to me, right? And so, yes, for me, it's the balance of, I feel like something's happening, but it always comes from seeing stuff. Like it's going to the candy store with my little guy and hearing 4 8-year-old girls talk about slime, and then later go to Shake Shack and hear another 2 8-year-old boys talk about slime, and I'm like, slime? And then I search it, and this is like a year ago, and I search it, maybe actually it's 18 months ago, and I search it on Instagram to see hashtags, I search on YouTube, I search Google, I'm like, this is real. There's something happening. Spinners, right? Like fads are easy for me. And I think what I've been good at in business is trying to decide what's a fad and what's an actual business. So something like Social Cam. I downloaded it and got very serious about it in 2011. I didn't know even the founders of Social Cam. It wasn't that I knew if Social Cam was gonna be big. I didn't invest in it, I didn't go after it, but I knew video on the mobile device was gonna be big. So when Vine got hot very quickly, I was an early mover, an early advocate of Vine and Vine influencers, right? Which, by the way, Vine influencers are absolutely the precursor to this Snapchat, Instagram thing we're dealing with right now. That's where they came from first. Instagram was photos. Then when Vine was dying a little bit, they all moved over to Instagram. Instagram was smart and made 1-minute videos, and that's when you saw the shift, and that became the seed and the foundation of Instagram influencers, which is an billion-dollar industry now. Everyone's like, how are you so early? It's because I put in the work. 2011, Social Cam, learn how video on mobile works. 2013 comes along, Vine pops. I'm like, that's right. I lived through YouTube 2006-07 being a YouTube celebrity for my wine show, so I knew what it looked like. I saw that the Vine kids were that. I flew to LA and met Brittany Furlan and King Batch. I put in the work. And so it's intuition, but it's also putting in the work.
Yeah, no. That putting in the work is one of the simplest and most, I think, often overlooked kind of thing. And how do you plan to, like, is that one of the things you think people just are either born with the fortitude to do that, or is that something you...
No, that's the one that I think, I mean, there's a lot of research, and again, being an F student in science, like I really don't, it's not that I don't trust anything, it's that I know that I haven't put in the work to really know if I should quote things. You know, so I kind of like just stay in my little lane. But there's a lot of push towards being a workaholic, and hard work is a learned behavior. I see it in my team. There's people that come into I've seen it in the thousands of employees I've had, which is the closer they are to the sun, the harder they work. And I'm like, aha. And so I definitely feel like I learned hard work by watching my parents. And so it's why I talk so much about hustle.
Because it's one of the things that people can actually adjust and turn to.
I watch people give advice completely predicated on natural talent and DNA, and I'm like, look, like I get it, like I can throw a football every day for 9 hours a day, I'm just not physically built to be competitive at the highest levels. So yeah, I do think, you know, if anybody watching right now, if there's anything they take away, it's like, look, like you're gonna only be so pretty, you're only gonna be so smart, like there's things that are gonna be natural, and then there's things that you can actually control. I do believe, and I don't know if I'm right or wrong, I don't, but I do believe that work ethic is a taught behavior. It's something you do have more control over. And yeah, I think, and you know what really sealed the deal for me? Getting healthier. I was 38 years old and it didn't come natural to me. Like it didn't come natural to me at all. I hate the gym. I hate it now. I hate it. I don't like it. I don't want to do it. But I knew it was important. And somewhere around midway through being 38 years old, I got serious. I figured out my system. I made the financial commitment, and I've won, right? And I'll never lose again, because the system was I needed to be accountable to another human being. So it was about Mike and now Jordan and whoever else is my trainer. I'm doing it almost weirdly more to not let them down than to, and so that was the shift. And so I feel like there's a shift that can make people work harder. The big one that I push is you're gonna die. Like if you're like to me, life is broken down into complaining and not. So if you're not complaining, well then I have no advice for you. I'm pumped. Like you did it. Like I have friends who make $42,000 a year, work 9 to 4, kind of, with an hour and a half lunch and 45 minutes of YouTube and 10 minutes of bullshitting and an hour of complete wasted time in a meeting. So they're kind of working like 6, hours a week, right? But they're pumped.
Right.
And they text me, these are high school friends, and they'll text me like how happy they are to be the coach of their kids' baseball team. And like that's nothing. Like that seems very obvious to me. Like that's right. Like, what's super weird? I'm actually weirdly envious. It sounds cool, like in theory, right? Grass is always greener, right? Like far less pressure, like all that time with my kids, oof, that would be cool. Like there's just like all these things that I can justify. So to me, but I have friends who have $100 million in the bank because of Facebook's IPO, who complain, who are still hungry, who want to do even more, who will complain to me because they know I work a lot about no work-life balance and they don't get to spend enough time with their family. And I'm like, you have $100 million. Like you could stay home. Like you're in control. Like don't complain about it. You've made that choice. Don't bullshit me. Like you want to spend more time with your family? Spend more time with your family. This is back to what we said about keyboard warriors. I'm trying to be very careful about what I'm saying versus what I'm doing, because that's how you get exposed. And I don't mean like people calling you out and being like, you suck. I mean to yourself. I don't want to be exposed by myself. It's looking yourself in the mirror and saying like, am I doing this right? So to me, there's so many people that are talking shit about how big of an entrepreneur they're gonna be and how much they're gonna achieve, and they don't work on weekends. I worked every Saturday of my 20s. And I talk to 20-year-old entrepreneurs every single day. Lately, I've been saying to them, this Saturday, you're gonna have more time off than I've had in my entire 20s on a Saturday. So like before you tell me how you're gonna be bigger than me, start thinking about what you're actually doing.
Right. Yeah, no, I've heard you say that once, and it really caught the person off guard because they were like all about what they were doing, and it's like, oh yeah. How do you plan to instill that in your kids, or do you? I guess if you don't.
I don't. I plan to instill kindness into my kids. Mm-hmm. I plan on instilling perspective into my kids. I plan in instilling just being a good human being. I plan on making sure they don't use their parents' wealth and micro fame and leverage to impose on any other person. I'm petrified of that. If my kids try to punk their friends on my shit, I'm gonna beat the fuck out of them. Like, that's just loser DNA. You didn't do that.
Gary V. All right, we're gonna pause it there.
That's interesting. So I've heard Will Smith say,
good stuff. All right, let's get some takeaways. Rox, what you got for us?
All right, that last part was funny. Anyhow, great morning, happy Monday. So some of my biggest takeaways, I'm gonna share two. I really loved in the very beginning when he talked about putting in the work. You know, he put work ethic is a top behavior. And whether your parents taught you or not, like how to have work ethic, at the end of the day, like he said, don't complain. It's all up to you. Every single choice is always up to you. So instead of complaining, instead of feeling sorry for myself and boo-hoo me and my life sucks, all that shit, we have like total control to change absolutely everything and anything that we want. And at the end of the day, it's just work ethic. That's all it is. And that's what I really, really loved. And I liked also how you said, be clear on what you say and what you're doing. Because if what you say is not in alignment with what you're doing, then the only person that you're BSing is yourself. You know, you can say this like to other people, like I want this and I want that and yada, 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 yada. But if your actions don't match it, at the end of the day, it's going to show. And to be honest, when people say stuff and their actions aren't in alignment and they just keep yapping and yapping and yapping, not only do you lose trust with yourself because you start to break word with yourself, but also the people around you. Like, I know people like that, and I'm just like, dude, like, okay, like, sure. Like, that's now, like, I want to believe in them, but time after time, their actions show that they're not impeccable with what they say that they are and with what they say that they want. And I think that is like one of the biggest clear things, being clear on what you say that you want and being clear on the action. Because like he said, even in his early 20s, he was working on the weekends. And for me personally, I feel like I work 6 days a week, sometimes 7. Like, we're always going and going and doing and doing and doing. Why? Because for us, you know, even for me, like I'm sure Aubrey can relate, like we still got so much work to do on where we want to go and where we want to be. So it's no time for chilling right now.
Yeah, great stuff. Love it. Shout out to everybody putting where they're from in the chat, man. We see people from all over the world, literally. So a couple of my takeaways. Your perspective is a quick tell of who you are. He said, I can tell exactly who people are when they start talking and what they complain about, because that's going to tell where you're at mentally. You know, if you're complaining about the coffee and the creamer in your $6 coffee, you're probably not that grateful. You probably don't understand that 50% of the world is on $2 or less a day. So it's a quick tell of your perspective, and just understand that it's not good or bad, but start to pay attention to what you say, what you get upset about. And it's not, you know, to say you're a bad person or to judge you, but you maybe get a perspective on where you come from. And then to broaden your perspective, I'd encourage you to go look at the world a little more. Watch some documentaries. $1 a Day is a great documentary. Go to Skid Row. We got Skid Row here in downtown. There's people living in tents. I see people laying on the ground all the time, just sleeping. So I never lose perspective that where we are is not normal. You know, we work hard for it, but it's not normal, and it's not average, and it's definitely not given. So having a perspective on where you're at compared to where a lot of the world is at, because I'll tell you guys, sometimes I'll be watching a documentary or we'll be traveling somewhere and I'll think, dang, what if I was born there? What if I was born in this country? What if I was born to this family? What if I was born at this time? You guys, you got to understand, if you're in America right now, if you're in Norway, if you're in a free country right now, if you have access to water, to building a business, to healthcare, to your family, you guys, you have better chances than probably 50% of people, not let alone 80% of people that lived in past times. You got to understand, there was a point in time where if you were born at a certain time, your destiny was determined already. And if you try to change that, they'd kill you. they kill your family. So just to remember that, I'm like, damn, what if I was born on an island with no way out? And my family was chopping down trees to eat. Where could I really go if I, yeah, we be talking, hey, I got hunger, I'm gonna make it. Like, what if you're born there? Yo, you can't swim across the ocean. What are you gonna do? So now that I know that what I have been given, born in, a country where I can be free, to parents that gave me all they could, to be able to go to a school system that gave me at least through 12th grade, and I could have went to junior college for another 2 years for like $30 a credit. Like, yo, where is that possible at? So perspective is so crucial to understand really what you've been given. And once you understand that, too much is given, much is expected. You weren't given these gifts to sit on your butt. Like, I'm very clear on that. So that was awesome. He also said, pay attention to the trends. He said, you know what? I'm listening in the store when I take my kid to the candy store. And I heard some people talking about something. You got to be paying attention of the trends. A trend that I saw is Snapchat. I would ask people, yo, you got social media? They'd be like, no. I'd be like, well, you got Snapchat? They'd be like, yeah, like Snapchat wasn't a part of their normal social media. Like Snapchat was their messaging service. It was so much ingrained. It would be people I wouldn't even think would have social media had Snapchat. So I started to see that Snapchat was something. I started to see that a lot of the younger generation, because I have younger siblings, were using Snapchat as everything. They messaged on Snapchat. They talked on Snapchat. They searched on Snapchat. So you got to pay attention because like Wayne Gretzky said, he wasn't the fastest. He wasn't the strongest. He's one of the best hockey players of all time. He said, I didn't skate to where the puck was. I skated to where the puck was going to be. You got to catch the trends, because if you try to get on the trends after they're already booming, guess what you do? You catch on a downslope. So paying attention. What are people talking about? What are people excited about? Word of mouth is really good. I heard a tip inside of stocks that was really good. It said, buy the rumor, sell the news. What does that mean? When people start talking the rumors, know that word of mouth is that more often than not accurate. But once everybody starts talking about the news and its general knowledge, then you need to get out, because then everybody's on it and the wave's going to come down. So that was huge. And then you worked every Saturday in his 20s. I don't know if you caught that. And this is my last thing I'm going to leave you guys with. This is why, Roxy will tell me, hey, you can't get on people that drink. Hey, you gotta be cool with people that party. I have no problem with that stuff. I used to party like crazy. I was a partier. I used to drink. I was going crazy. I wasn't like a hard drinker, but I would go out, I would turn up, and I have no problem with it. But let me tell you this. Let me give you this. And if you just take one thing away from this Triple M, this is it. You don't got time. You don't got time. While I was doing all that, I was still in school. I don't know how I made it through. I didn't pay attention a lot. I used to go to the bathroom a lot during school. I had this kid behind me in grad school that would chart the number of times I went to the bathroom. Why? Because I just had to get up and move. I couldn't sit there that long. So I don't know how I made it through, but guess what? I made it through because I knew I couldn't just be partying. I couldn't just be working. I had to be building something. And you don't got time if you're like, yo, I don't like where my finances are at. Yo, I don't like where my family is living. Yo, I don't like that we can't go see the world. Yo, I don't know what my kids or my younger siblings are going to do for college. College is skyrocketing. If these are some things that are issues for you, for me it was I didn't want to live where I didn't want to live. And I started to see a lot of people had to live where they didn't want to live rather than where they wanted to live. I would see all these nice houses and nice neighborhoods, and I would see all these nice places. I'd be like, why can't we live there? And then I started to realize the people that lived there took care of business. And the people that lived where they didn't want to live didn't take care of business. They were partying, they were drinking, they were wasting money. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. But what I am saying is if you don't have the things that you want for you and your family, you don't got time to be wasting. I be looking at people, we live right by the pool. Half these people, 75% of the people that be here on the weekend do not even live here. I'm like, if you don't even live here, you don't got time to be at the pool. You should be putting in work right now, like right now, because you wasting time for you and your family. You're going to wake up 40 and broke. That ain't a fun thing to wake up to. And they be like, Aubrey, you always so, I'm always so living where I want to live. That's where I'm always so. I'm always so driving what I want to drive. I'm always so taking my family around the world. That's what I'm always so doing. And I want it for you, but you chilling on the couch. I come in, I be seeing people chilling on the couch. I'm like, what y'all doing? You ain't got time to chill. We need to go right now. We need to do something right now. They be like, Aubrey, you crazy. I be like, you know what? I am. Let's get crazy. Let's do it and get balling and take our family where we want to go. Now I have to answer to a boss. Now I have to go to a job for 20 years we hate. That's crazy. Why don't y'all say that's crazy about them? Why don't y'all say that's crazy that people living paycheck to paycheck? That's crazy. You broke. You missed 1 week of work. You be broke, in debt, bankrupt. Why don't nobody say that's crazy? They be like, nah, that's normal. Let's hang out. Hell no. You guys, that's why I go so crazy about that. So, man, I'm sweating. I'm ready for Monday. So,
Susie said, breathe, Obs.
I know I need to breathe. I'm fired up. So let's get a few takeaways. Who's got some takeaways? Give me a thumbs up or a smile if you're excited to share your takeaways from Gary Vee. Who's got one? I think I saw Susie. Susie, you fired up or you at work? Here, let me give us a quick takeaway.
I'm in the stairwell, but I'll try to share. Hopefully it doesn't echo too much.
You got it.
Well, I'm super fired up for this Triple M. Gary Vee always has a way to give it to us, and then he got you all pumped, so thank you for sharing all that. But one of the things that I really take away from Gary Vee and just listening to some of his audio is he always talks about, I guess one time he interviewed this girl and I guess she wanted to like start a business, and he said, okay, tell me what you did this weekend. And she said, oh, well, Saturday I watched a movie and started going in, and he told her, you chilled more this weekend than I did my entire 20s. And that's one thing that I get to work on, I guess you could say, and take away, because sometimes, we get so distracted, or we think that we deserve to just chill, but in reality, if we're not really building anything, if we're not really where we're going to be, like you said, then, we definitely don't have any time to chill.
So true. I love that. I got to find that other video. She said, yo, I was chilling this weekend. I caught up on my past like video series. It's like, dang. And
I'll send it to you.
Yeah, send that to me. I need to see that one. That one's good. Great. All right, we got Fit Momino from Maria from Miami. Good morning, everybody. Some takeaways. It's about having intuition, but also putting in the work. Work ethic is taught behavior. You have to train yourself to have good work ethic. Don't complain about your current situation. Change it. I'm always one to say you shouldn't feel sorry or pity people. Everyone chooses to live the life they are living. Therefore, they don't feel bad for them or yourself. Have a great week, guys. Awesome. Thank you, Fit Mom. Let's get one more takeaway. Give me a thumbs up or a smile if you're excited to share a nugget.
2 months, May and June, has been the
Somebody's
wettest.
fired up.
The wettest so far.
Give me one more smile. Give me a takeaway. I'm looking for somebody.
You gotta put it in the other view.
I can't really
who's that?
sum up, you know what I'm saying? This is Brandon.
What's up, Brandon? Give me a nugget.
I can't, because I don't know, the app didn't have me sign into the meeting, so I'm just on the phone call, just kind of listening in.
All right, we're gonna get you on the next one. Good job, Brandon. Great job tuning in. Let's get it. All right. Let's get it. I'm gonna get my man Orlando from Milwaukee. What you got for us? Give me a nugget. Can you hear me? Oh, he's typing it in. He putting in work.
Get our money. Where's our money?
All right. I got the last nugget for you guys from Selena Ibarra. Instill in your kids kindness, perspective, being a good human being. As a parent, you want to make sure your kids know what's about, treat others well, and carry yourself well. That last part. He said he beat his kids up, not in a bad way, but that he wouldn't let them use what he built to build them. I thought that was dope. All right, you guys. Amazing, amazing Triple M. I'm sweating. Man, like I took some pre-workout right now. So fire me up. You guys have a great, great week. Make sure don't leave these nuggets with you. You got to pay them forward. You got to post the flyer. You got to post a picture of Gary Vee. You got to post a selfie, and you got to share your nuggets, because that's how they get so instilled in you, because to teach, you must know on another level. So definitely tune in next Monday. I'm going to post the recording as soon as it's uploaded. I hope you guys have a great week. For everybody that's going to Extravaganza, our once-a-year event here in North America, Herbalife, we'll see you guys next weekend. We're leaving in 2 days. St. Louis, 30,000 Herbalife coming together. You don't want to miss that. Have a great one, you guys. I'm going to take everybody on mute. How y'all feeling? Monday, y'all. Let's get it, y'all. Peace.
Happy Monday.